Are we heading straight home?
Yeah, nah, we got to stop at the chemist.
The chemist?
I think it had a man for the dad, Cornelius, a kid for Winton, and then there was like a scratched out bird figure, presumably the mom.
Oh, they're gone. It's Winton. Oh, yeah. He's seen us too. Hi.
G'day, you cheeky dogs. To celebrate the UK finally releasing the Bluey episode TV shop on Cbeebies, I have put together a compilation video of all of the hidden details and Easter eggs from this episode, as well as one of the biggest theories that came out of it, which is, where is the Terriers Dad? But otherwise, let's just get into it.
TV shop!
Starting off strong with the single parent representation that we see in this episode, and that of course is between the Terrier's mum and Winton's dad, Cornelius. This is the first time that we've kind of like really actively seen two parents like flirting with each other, and this whole backstory is just so much more in depth than what you realize. Which leads me then into the second favorite thing, which is the car number plates and the car stickers that we see out the front of the chemist.
Is Coco okay?
Oh, yeah, she's fine. I think she's got bumworms.
What?
Now, Coco's mom, of course, says too many kids. We've seen that before, and of course, it's a joke about the fact that she has too many kids.
I thought Coco was your first. No, I've got 8 kids. Wait, no, 9.
And also that she might have had even more kids since Coco. I made a video about that. I'll leave a link for it up here, though, if you're interested in seeing it. But in particular, though, Winton's car says lovely jubbly, which is, of course, a reference to his dad's first and only vocal line in the episode Market.
I will.
Lovely jubbly.
But also, the stickers on his car is of Winton, his dad, and his mum, like, scratched out.
I think it had a man for the dad, Cornelius, a kid for Winton, and then there was like a scratched out bird figure, presumably the mom.
Again, really reinforces the fact that, yeah, his dad's a single dad. His mum is still alive. We know that from Typewriter, and we know that they're divorced because of that episode too.
I'm over my dad's house. He has a pool. Where does he live? I don't know. Winton. I know he doesn't live with my mom.
But yeah, that was probably a really messy divorce. But of course, when we pan over, we see the Terrier's car. Their number plate is just Terrier, of course, but their sticker is just their mum and the 3 kids. So obviously dad is also not in the picture here.
Mom, please, can we go home? This place smells like Grandma.
Oh, that's a bit much. Oh, Scarlet Bombshell.
The next thing is also, again, from the Behind Bluey podcast for this episode TV shop, and that is Winton's dad's backstory that we've actually already been seeing since season 1. Whenever Winton's dad's been in the background, there's been a lot of things going on. And most of the time we've seen him like on random dates, but we've also seen him get over that and be really sad and alone. And then this episode is the culmination of that and him finding love with the Terrier's mum. And this is all confirmed and backed up by the animators from Ludo Studios.
And she had started this backstory with Winton's dad looking for love. It then kind of became a big running story. So then you'd see him quite sad in shots and think, okay, he's not found anyone yet.
We also from this podcast find out the names of the terriers, and what a surprise is the name of Joe Brum and his 2 brothers. So it's Joe, Dan and Adam, and I absolutely love this.
They don't officially have names, but in cell action the terriers have actor names, don't they? What are they?
Joe, Dan, and Adam?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're named after me and my brothers.
Maybe you might not really notice is that the focus on the 3 parents, so Bandit, the Terrier's mum, and Cornelius, Winton's dad, they're all looking at ways to become healthier or younger, which of course is the whole focus of Bandit's storyline in this. And it's the fact that, like, you know, you don't sometimes need the vitamins to feel younger. Like, you can just like find that youth within yourself, like by dancing, like how the kids are.
Why do you want vitamins, Dad?
Oh, well, I haven't got much energy at the moment. I feel like an old man. I thought some vitamins might help.
But it's mirrored with the other parents, like Bandit's looking for vitamins to be healthy, the Terrier's mum is looking at lipsticks to feel younger, and then Cornelius's dad is looking at protein powder, again, maybe to feel more healthy or even younger as well. So all 3 parents kind of mimic what's happening in the storyline, and as a parent, I love seeing that story too of like, yeah, we want to be as youthful as our kids, but sometimes they also make us feel old.
Is it because of us you feel like an old man?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. You also make me feel like a young man.
And oh my gosh, this is probably one of my favorite episodes for Easter eggs because there are so many. So let's get started with the title card.
This episode of Bluey's called TV Shop.
which of course is like our biggest hint that the Terrier's mum and Winton's dad is like a really important part of this episode, because they're the actual logo for this title card. It is the lipsticks that the Terrier's mum is trying on and the mouth spray that Winton's dad puts in his mouth before he goes to talk to her. However, let's now look at the next Easter eggs, and those are all the locations that we have. Of course, this is all set at the chemist, which yes, in Australia we say chemist, or sometimes we say pharmacy as well. I realize in other countries there's a lot of different words. Usually it's pharmacy, or in the US it's drugstore. But the chemist in Australia, there's one very famous chemist, and that is Chemist Warehouse, and that is what this episode or this location is based on. You can see it from just like the outside details. They even have at the top saying discount chemist, which is what Chemist Warehouse has as well. And instead of saying chemist, it has like pharmacy warehouse. So a very funny hint and nod at that. We also see like the blue baskets inside, which is exactly what Chemist Warehouse has as well. And then even outside, like in the parking lot, the disabled parking space has a disabled dog in it. I love when they add in like just these extra little details like that. And they do it a little bit more throughout the inside of the chemist as well, but I'll talk about that in a second. My other favorite thing though as well is the makeup brands and how they try to like have a bit of a play on words. So you can definitely tell like which one is like Revlon, and there's sort of a hint about Olay and some other brands. So I thought that was really cute too. Now, of course, let's talk about our traditional Easter eggs. We have all of them except for the Chattermax. Now, the pineapple we see twice. We actually see the first one on Rusty's hat. It's the little pin pineapple. And then the second one is, of course, in Waterworks Road on the shop sign, which we have seen before as well. We have a whole heap of tennis balls. The first lot that we see is when Bluey and Bingo first walk into the chemist, and we can see the little package of tennis balls. And then we see more again at the very end scene when they finally discover Coco. And that's also where we see our green long dog for this episode too. He's just underneath those tennis balls, but he is not the only one. We also see two more white long dogs, which are on the packets. Again, as the girls are walking into the chemist, we can see them as like a label on the boxes.
There was actually one more long dog, and it was on one of the brown boxes that you see as Bingo is running around the store.
Go down that way.
Now, the next thing I want to talk about is bum worms. And this joke is just so funny. And I talked about this already when the trailer came out and they were like making this joke about bum worms.
Do we have bum worms?
No, you don't have bum worms.
Aw, I want bum worm chocolate.
And a lot of people didn't realize that this is like a real thing. And especially in Australia, this is a real thing. We worm all of our kids in Australia. I remember the worming chocolate as a kid. It tastes disgusting. It does not taste like chocolate. But yeah, this is a really big thing in Australia. A lot of kids from ages like 5 to 10 can get bum worms. It's also known as like threadworm or pinworms as well. And you can also get like dog worming chocolate for as well. So it's kind of funny that like the bum chocolate works for both humans and dogs, and that's sort of like the joke in this.
Aw, I want bum worm chocolate.
Bum worms are incredibly contagious through your hands. That's how they like pass along, because usually the worms' eggs are in your hands, under your fingernails, or you touch someone, they get them, and then they eat something, put it in their mouth, and then gets down to your bum. And it's like that big cycle.
Maybe she has bum worms.
I hope not. They're easy to catch.
Which is why Bandit freaked out in the parking lot, because the girls were just holding hands with Coco, both of them, and spinning themselves around. So no wonder Bandit freaked out in the parking lot, because he realized that they're probably about to get bum worms.
I think she's got bum worms.
What?
Now let's go all the way back to the start of the episode at the school, because there's quite a few little funny jokes as well as Easter eggs there as well. Now the first joke, of course, is Bluey's name, Blue Cheese. I love all the nicknames that Bandit comes up with, like Fun Size from the episode The Claw, but for this one now we have Blue Cheese for Bluey. We do have quite a few callbacks to previous episodes, so of course we see Jack and Rusty in the background playing Army, and then we also have a callback to Barky Boats, so we can see Mackenzie, Bluey and Pretzel at the start playing Barky Boats, but then as the scene changes, we also see that Chloe and Snickers are also playing and watching the Barky Boat go down the river. Now this is also the first time that we see Winton's dad and the Terrier's mum giving each other a little bit of like a fun little glance, and they're both quite happy to see each other. And this is one of those things where you like, if you slow it down, you can see the extra details that they put into this to really build this tension. Like the fact that Winton's dad is happy and surprised, and that even though the Terrier's mum is talking to Snickers' mum, she also looks at Winton's dad and is pretty happy about it. It's these small little details that just make Bluey so much fun to watch. So let's talk about Winton's dad and all like the funny moments, because he's just such a funny character as well, and it definitely is played for like comedic effect, but he's so good. So of course when we see him in the chemist, one of the funniest things is like him looking around before he's testing out the deodorant on himself and spraying it on him. Also when he's looking at the protein powder and like comparing his arm size to like the dog in the picture as well. Obviously he maybe wants to get like a little bit buffer, post-divorce workout kind of situation. And then when he sees the Terrier's mum, he stops and then uses the mouth spray as well, because again it's a little hint that he's like a bit nervous but wants to impress her. And even while they're talking as well, well, he takes the time to like move his basket away so she can't really see what's inside, because maybe he's just a little bit embarrassed about like the protein powder or the mouth spray in there. Now, of course, let's talk about the terrier's mum, and this is the first time that we've ever seen her. And before, we did kind of think that the terrier that was in Bob Bilby was their mum, but obviously that's not the case. And maybe she's their grandma, because the terrier boys do reference that the chemist smells like their grandma. So that is a possibility. Now, we don't find out their mum's name, but she is voiced by Kerry Bickmore, who is a famous TV personality and talk show and news host as well. And I love just like the details that they've given her in this, where like she's swatching her makeup, and of course her boys are like so bored and she's happy for them to go off and play, because it means that she can sort of focus on like what she wants to focus on in the chemist. And of course we do see lots of little hints that she's also interested in Winton's dad as well, especially when she touches Winton's dad's arm and moves like a little bit closer towards him as they're talking in the chemist.
It's Winton. Oh yeah, he's seen us too. Hi. He's dancing.
Now, let's talk about some of the fun other little extra details that maybe you might have missed in this episode. And we're going to start off with Coco, actually. So the headphones that she has on are this blue color, but the little logo on them is butterflies. And we know that Coco loves butterflies because those are the two clips that she has in her hair as well. There are, of course, as I mentioned, a lot of dog jokes in this. Everything from the girls barking excitedly as they walk into the chemist, as well as all the little like dog jokes on the chemist boxes. So we see paw prints, we see dog outlines, and then of course we see like the buff muscly dog as well with the protein powder stuff. I do think though one of the overall messages from this is of course about like screen time. So of course it starts off with Coco not looking up from her tablet to see that all of her friends are around her. And then of course we also see Bluey doing the exact same thing, where she's not looking away from the TV, even though what she wants to find is right next to her. So I think that was an interesting message as well of like, you know, take the time to actually look away from the screen and you'll find what you're looking for.
Come on, we gotta go.
But I think Coco's here somewhere.
Yeah, she's right there.
Huh? Ah, Coco!
Of course, we have to talk about the music. The music slaps. It's amazing. It's so good and so different, I feel, as well. Like, this is just such a different vibe than what we've normally gotten from Bluey. Like, there's a little bit kind of like lyrics in the background a little bit. And I don't know, it's just amazing. Again, I feel like the music and of course the dance moves from all the kids just really made this episode so fun to watch. Like, I know when I was watching it with my family, my children were absolutely loving it and dancing every time the music came on. So, well done. 10 out of 10 for the music. And honestly, overall for this whole episode, 5 out of 5 long dogs for me. I absolutely loved the messaging in it. I loved all the Easter eggs, and I loved Winton's dad and Terrier's mom and all their like flirtatious scenes. But cheeky dogs, let me know in that comment section down below, how many long dogs would you give this episode out of 5? I'd love to know what your favorite thing was from this episode as well, and if there's anything else that you noticed that maybe I might have missed. Hey cheeky dogs, today we're going to go into one of the biggest unsolved mysteries from Bluey Season 3C, especially from the episode TV Shop, and that is, where is the Terriers' dad?
Bluey, look, it's the Terriers. Terriers! Hey! Mom, please, can we go home? This place smells like Grandma.
Now, I have 5 theories about this, and yes, one of them is definitely more obvious, I think, than others. But of course, I want to show you all the different theory options and then see what you cheeky dogs think. So let's start off with what we do know about the Terriers and their family. And yes, most of the information that we have is from the Bluey episode TV Shop.
Bluey, look, it's the Terriers. Terriers! Hey!
In this episode, we do, for the first time, get to meet the Terriers' mum.
Mom, please, can we go home?
Oh, that's a bit much. Oh, Scarlet Bombshell.
And we also hear about the Terriers' grandmother as well.
This place smells like Grandma.
So confirmation that yes, they have a mum and yes, they have a grandma. And personally, I kind of like to think that maybe their grandma is the female doctor from Bumpy the Wise Old Wolfhound episode that was treating Bingo. We have seen like 3 other terriers basically, and that is that female doctor, the male doctor all the way back in Baby Race, and then also the Scottish Terrier that was referenced in the episode Bob Bilby. Now, we also know the terriers' names unofficially, but their names are Joe, Adam, and Dan, which is after the creator Joe Brum, as well as his 2 siblings, Dan, who also works on the show as the sound designer and voice of Uncle Stripe, and Adam, his other brother, who is an archaeologist and the inspiration for Bandit's job. Now, aside from this, the only other information we really know is that obviously the terriers are triplets. They're all at school together, which means they're all the same age, and they are the only triplets in Bluey. The only other multiple kids is Zara and Bentley, who are in Bingo's class, but aside from that, they're like the only sets. And this is going to become really important later on. So what are the options then for the dad? So the first one is that yes, the mum is married, the dad is alive, and I feel like this is literally the least likely / just is not the answer at all, because we do actually have some evidence against this.
Hey, hang on. What's this?
What's what?
There's a house for sale, and it's beautiful.
Oh, don't tell me that.
And also on the back of their car with their like family stickers, it's just their mum and the 3 kids. So we can assume that then the dad is just not in the picture. So why is he not in the picture? Now, the X option is that he is the ex-husband, but is also still alive. And yeah, this could be an option, but there's no evidence for it. And there's no evidence against it. So I feel like this option is like the lowest of the bunch, basically. Now, the third option is that they did have a dad, that they were married, but that the dad has passed away. Now, again, we have no mention of this. There's no obvious signs at all on like the car stickers with the dog with like a halo around his head or like anything like that. But it is a really plausible option for what I think might link into the most obvious option in a second. So the fourth option then, of course, is that the boys are all adopted. And yeah, that could explain then the differences in their looks and coloring and design compared to their mum. All 3 boys are grey, their mum is more of like a cream colour instead. This would also explain why we don't see their dad, because he's not part of the picture. And we have seen the idea of adoption before in Bluey, specifically in the episode Pass the Parcel, where Missy runs to her mum who is a completely different breed than her. So adoption obviously is an option in the Blueyverse, and that could explain this. However, I did speak with someone from Ludo Studios about the animation choices for these characters, and I think that that means that the adoption is not the case. So when I spoke to this team member, I was asking about what kind of breed the terriers are, and apparently they are based off a cross mixed breed between Schnauzers and Scottish Terriers, which of course is why they are called the Terriers, but why their designs don't completely match up with one breed more than another. And this team member as well was also part of the multiple people who helped design the terrier's mum, and he said that mainly they were just looking for mum vibes from her, but that she is, yes, related to the boys. So she's a mix as well, but this also explains some of the confusion with the colorings and what specific breed they are, but why they're called the terriers if they look like Schnauzers. So that explains that option, but they are biological. So if they're biological then, that leaves with our 5th option, and the one that I think is the most plausible, and that is IVF. Now, if the terriers are all IVF babies, it means that their dad could either have been the donor as well and might have passed away afterwards, or that their dad was also a donor who they just did not know at all. But what's the logic between thinking that they're IVF babies or IVF puppies? Well, it's kind of based on how puppies and birthing kind of works in the Blueyverse.
Biscuits!
Hooray!
Because it doesn't follow on like normal dogs in real life, because usually in real life Schnauzers or Scottish Terriers have litters of puppies, usually 3 to 8 puppies, and that's kind of true for most breeds of dogs. When they have puppies, they have multiples, not just one. But in the Blueyverse, that's rare. Like all the time, all the kids are just singular pups, and like I said, the only other times they're not is the Terriers, who are 3, and Zara and Bentley, who are twins. And so then why would I think that maybe they're just not a like naturally occurring than IVF instead? And honestly, again, it's kind of based on statistics. If we're working off the theory that the Blueyverse and children is kind of based off the same as real life, the chances of having triplets is 0.0001%. That's 1 in every 10,000 births is triplets. That's so incredibly rare. However, in IVF, it's a 30% chance. That's a massive difference. 0.001 versus 30%, which means that, yeah, this would then explain why there's a higher chance of that we've only seen this set of triplets then, and also why maybe the boys have more of a grey colour compared to their mum, because maybe their dad or the donor was a more grey coloured Schnauzer or Scottish Terrier. Now, personally, I like the idea that the IVF was from their actual dad who was married to their mum, and that she is a widow, because this is a specific storyline that we haven't seen at all in Bluey yet. So yes, we have seen the idea of other single mums with Wendy, because again, we've never seen Judo's dad, but I do think maybe that Wendy is more closer to like divorced than widowed. And of course, we've seen single fathers with Winton's dad, who we know is definitely divorced, because Winton does mention both his dad and his mum being divorced in the episode Helicopter.
Where does he live? I don't know. Winton. I know he doesn't live with my mum.
And IVF is a really popular option for parents who are having infertility problems, or it can also be an option for single parents as well. And in case you didn't know, there are 8 million IVF children in the world. That is a lot of kids, and we know that Bluey does a really good job of trying to represent different types of children and households and family situations, and they are trying to do that more and more, especially in season 3. So I feel like this storyline of the Terriers being IVF kids would provide such a fantastic representation for those 8 million children around the world. But Cheeky Dogs, what do you think? Which option do you think is the most viable? Do you think with the IVF that maybe their dad has passed away, or that it was just a random donor and we will never know who the dad is? Let me know in that comment section down below. I'd love to know your guys' theories about what you think has happened to the Terriers' dad. But until then, I have picked your Cheeky Dogs out a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I will see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!